Now we're going to have a look at cayenne pepper. This is my travelling pack. I take cayenne pepper everywhere with me. Cayenne pepper is a remarkable herb. Cayenne pepper is not chili. Chili comes from the chili family, and cayenne pepper comes from the capsicum family. Chili is an irritant to the lining of the gastrointestinal tract. Black pepper is an irritant to the lining of the gastrointestinal tract, but cayenne pepper will heal a stomach ulcer. Cayenne pepper moves blood. It's one of the best circulatory stimulants there is. It's not a nervous system stimulant like your caffeines or your tobacco. It's a blood stimulant. And when you consider that the life of the flesh is in the blood, cayenne pepper is a wonderful healer. And you can put cayenne pepper with any other herb and it'll intensify its action. So let's begin by looking at how you can use cayenne pepper internally. By the way, how would you take it? Well, a medicinal dose may be 1/4 teaspoon in a little bit of water and throw it down. Won't it burn? Well, I prefer to call it tingle. It might feel like it's burning, but it will never burn. I have a book at home by Jethro Kloss called Back to Eden. He devotes half a page to every herb except for cayenne pepper. 10 pages he devotes to cayenne pepper. It's a remarkable herb, and I think I mentioned this the other night. You can get an ebook. It's called Curing with Cayenne by Sam Beiser, and you can download that book. The whole book is on cayenne pepper. It's a remarkable herb. So let's have a look at internally. Internally, it'll heal a stomach ulcer, because what the cayenne does, it causes a constriction of any open blood vessels. So just for a moment, let's look at externally. If you have a cut, you pour cayenne pepper into it and it'll stop the bleeding. Now, we had a Fijian doctor come over and work with me for a couple of weeks. She wanted to look at what we did. Do you know, she works in Suva now, and her name is the nutritional doctor. She works all with natural medicines. But let's back to Misty Mountain. I'm giving a lecture, and I heard a crash in the kitchen, but I just kept lecturing, as I always do. Like when the little girl does ballerinas there, I just keep lecturing. Yes, the building might fall down, and I just might keep lecturing. That's my job, just keep lecturing. I was in the Bronx, New York, lecturing one day, and behind everyone, a policeman came in with his gun drawn. I just kept lecturing. He went out again. So the good news, we're going to keep going. Anyway, where was I? Misty Mountain, and we've got the doctor. Crash in the kitchen. Found out later the blender had dropped and she had bare feet as Fijians do. And you know how thick blenders are? 3 bits of glass had gone on the top of her foot, and she had 3 1 centimetre long cuts on the top of her feet. And the staff were saying, Barbara, quick. So I went outside, and just like most Fijians, she's laughing. And I looked at her foot and I could see little globules of fat. How deep is that? That's very deep. I said, don't worry about it, we'll fix it. So I went and got the cayenne pepper and I sprinkled cayenne pepper in it. Anyway, she laughed the louder, as Fijians do. Most others would have screamed. Doesn't it hurt? Well, it's already hurting. So it just hurts a little bit more. And only hurts momentarily. It's like when you put cayenne pepper in your mouth, the tingle dies down. And then we bound it up. Well, I saw her the next day and she said, I can't believe this. She said, I would have stitched that. She said, if I'd been near a hospital, she said, I would have stitched that. But she said, this has drawn it together. She said, all the swelling's gone down. She said, it's unbelievable. So you see, her experiences at Misty, maybe that one, was very helpful on her knowing how to treat. And that's what cayenne will do. So any cut, put the cayenne pepper on it. Yes, it will hurt, but it's already hurting, and remember, it'll settle down, and then bind it up, because it'll constrict the blood vessels and cause them to shut. Now, internally, if there's a bleeding ulcer and you take cayenne pepper, won't it hurt? It'll give a little bit of a tingle, but it will never hurt, meaning it will never cause an ulcer. In the book Jethro Kloss, there's a doctor that says it's impossible to cause a lesion with cayenne pepper. Another doctor said, you cannot abuse cayenne pepper. It's impossible to abuse it. It's actually a very safe herb. It will never harm. It might feel like it sometimes, but it will never harm. You can also use it internally if someone has a heart attack. Now, I had read about this, but I experienced it once, and it was when we had our health retreat in Melbourne. I got a call from one of the staff. A lady's had a heart attack in the middle of a cooking class. So I ran down. I was there in 3 minutes. The lady's lying on the ground. Her face is white. There's a guy holding a pulse. He said, the pulse is gone? Almost. I said, quick, cayenne pepper. I got a half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, quickly put it in her mouth. She was half conscious. We were able to give her a little bit of water to drink. Within 2 minutes, the guy holding the pulse said, the pulse is strong. All the colour came back into her cheeks, and she sat up and said, what happened? Just amazing. We sold out of cayenne pepper that program. Everyone, what happened to that lady? What happened to that lady is that cayenne pepper, when it got into the blood vessels, it thinned the blood. This is the best blood thinner. No need to warfarin, I mean rat poison. No need for aspirin. And by the way, it has been shown today that aspirin causes brain bleeds. This is very, very safe with no side effects. Now, if someone is on warfarin or aspirin and they're a little concerned, I would suggest start taking 1/4 teaspoon 3 times a day. And most people, if they're on warfarin, they have to be tested, every few weeks or every month. And the doctor will say, your blood's getting so thin, we can reduce your medication. Because he will see it if you're taking cayenne pepper. It's very safe. I was going to say many doctors, probably 1% of doctors, there are a few that are using natural medicines with amazing results. See, there's no side effect with this. You could take a bucket of that a day and you would still not bleed to death. Because, remember herbs? Psalm 104 verse 14, God made herbs for the service of man. They work with the body. Now what that did when this lady took it, it thinned the blood, it immediately opened, dilated all her blood vessels, and she got a dramatic delivery of blood all through her body, and that's what pulled her around. Isn't that amazing? If you've got a stomach ulcer, it'll constrict the bleeding vessels. If you need to open the arteries, it'll just open that. That's how the herbs work with the body.